Jura vs Himawari was one of the most interesting fights since the start of Two Blue Vortex. It turns out that Himawari might be something that is similar to the Shinju. She is closer to being a humanoid Biju just like the Shinju than she is to being a Jinchuriki, which is what allowed her to have such a fast development with Kuruma's power and even use it to fight Jura. But unfortunately for Himawari, her potential wasn't enough when confronted with Jura's power. Jura was too powerful for Himawari to put insult to injury. Jura even mentioned that he wasn't even using his full power and he is hoping that he is going to get a chance to finally do that. This is after he took down Himawari with a few blows after letting Himawari hit him with a punch that sent him tumbling through the ground. If it wasn't for Boruto saving Himawari within that moment, Jura might have taken her out or even devoured her, the same way Hidari tried to do with Sarada Uchiha. The fact that Jura wasn't even using his full power makes him even more terrifying because we essentially don't even know how powerful he truly is. The idea of a humanoid Biju that was created from the Ten Tails, and that has the power of Code's Karma Seal, which also has Isshiki's genetic data, makes the humanoid Biju or the Shinju something that shouldn't be underestimated, and has the potential to have a power that is far greater than Isshiki, or even greater than Naruto's Beryan move. In order to assess how powerful Jura or the Shinju might actually be, we need to first look at the abilities that Code was able to access because of his karma, Isshiki's abilities that the Shinju might have inherited from Code's karma, and the abilities that might have come from the Ten Tails. Judging by what we can see so far, the Shinju can use Code's claw mark ability to go to different locations, or use them in a tactical way during a fight to deliver an attack to their opponent. An example of this is when Hidari used the claw mark ability to sneak attack Sarada Uchiha with a lightning jutsu, by sticking his hand in his pocket and making it appear on a claw mark that was behind Sarada, showing us that the Shinju are already capable of using Code's claw mark ability in new and intuitive ways. So there might be other stuff that the Shinju can do with the claw marks that we are eventually going to see the more they keep on fighting. Other jutsu that we have seen from the Shinju is an Earth style jutsu, a lightning jutsu, and a wood style jutsu. The Earth style jutsu is from Muegi, the lightning jutsu is from Sasuke, and the wood style jutsu is more likely an ability that they gain from the Ten Tails. Let's not forget that the Ten Tails is essentially a seedling that ends up turning into a divine tree and produces a chakra fruit when an Otsutsuki is fed to the Ten Tails. And the tree is essentially made of wood. And interesting enough, the term Shinju can also translate to God tree. So it shouldn't be surprising that a humanoid Biju that was created from the seedling of a divine tree and are also referred to as the Shinju can use a jutsu like the wood style. Another one of the jutsu that they have is the fire style jutsu, as we have seen from Hidari. So those are the jutsu that the Shinju have at their disposal. The thing we should be concerned about is that the four Shinju have the Rinnegan Dojutsu. The Rinnegan is the most powerful of the Dojutsu, possessing abilities like the planetary devastation, and the ability to not only absorb chakra, but also perceive chakra and the flow of chakra within the body, which might be how Jura was able to sense and perceive Kuruma inside of Himawari. The Rinnegan also grants the user the ability to master any jutsu, as well as the 5 changes in chakra nature. So the Shinju might be able to use all 5 changes in chakra nature. The reason we are going to ignore the 6 pairs abilities of the Rinnegan is due to the fact that having the Rinnegan doesn't automatically mean you can use the 6 pairs abilities. You have to have a strong connection to Hagoromo Otsutsuki or have his chakra in order to be able to access his abilities, because most of those abilities are unique to Hagoromo's Rinnegan, just as other different Rinnegan users have their own unique abilities that other Rinnegan users do not possess. For example, Jura's Rinnegan abilities being able to create and shoot out Biju bombs, which is something that we haven't seen from any other Rinnegan user in the verse. So there's a chance that each of the other Shinju's Rinnegan has their own unique ability that the other Shinju do not possess, which makes the Shinju even more unpredictable and dangerous. In terms of the level of strength that the Shinju might have, then it has to be either the same amount of strength as Isshiki or even greater than that when you consider that they have the raw power of the Ten Tails, which is also combined with the raw power that is coming from Code's white karma, which originates from Isshiki Otsutsuki. The Shinju's vast arsenal of abilities as well as the potential raw power that they could possess might be what Boruto was referring to when he said that Code might have created something that is beyond anything he can imagine, which is going to be the cause of the dark future that Boruto is trying to prevent. The Shinju are still learning how to use their abilities and they are far from using their full strength. Even though they have the abilities of shinobi like Sasuke and Muegi, that doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to use them. The more they continue to fight, the more that becomes apparent. Hidari used the Chidori against Sarada but couldn't even target her correctly because he doesn't have the Sharingan. This being something that he noticed for himself when he saw Sarada using the Chidori with the Sharingan activated. Even though Hidari didn't know anything about the Chidori and was only using the Jutsu instinctually, he was still able to figure out that it needs the Sharingan just by seeing Sarada using it once with the Sharingan activated. That speaks to the intelligence of the Shinju. As Jura stated, one of their main objectives is to acquire knowledge, and they keep gathering information from everything that is happening around them. It is highly possible that one of the ways they acquire information is by absorbing specific targets, and once they have assimilated those targets, they end up gaining their abilities, their power, and even their knowledge. In Jura's encounters with Himawari, Jura was learning more about the Biju, how much Himawari is different from a normal Jinchuriki, and the difference between himself and Himawari, as well as all the similarities that they share. This means that if Jura was able to absorb Himawari, then he could have added Himawari's power to his own and became even more formidable. It definitely would have been bad news for everyone. Another thing to take notice of is how much the Shinju's desire for destruction continues to grow the more they fight stronger opponents. Jura is currently positioned as the leader of the Shinju, and is the only Shinju that seems like he wasn't a copy of a Clock-Rhyme victim. Jura refers to himself as the reincarnation of the Biju. He might be the evolution of the Ten Tails itself, especially when you consider that he was the only one that was able to sense Kurama inside of Himawari. Only a Biju would be able to sense another Biju's presence. Being the superior form of the Ten Tails that has now gained some form of intelligence and is learning from its experiences without just operating on instinct is a recipe for disaster. We saw how the Ten Tails in the war arc of Naruto was able to adapt to whatever attacks that were being thrown at it. Now imagine that same Biju but more intelligent and exponentially more powerful. We have no idea what the extent of that power is, and we definitely do not want to find out. Let's not even forget that the Shinju still need to consume the Otsutsuki to evolve even further. In their first encounter with Boruto, Jura said to him that even though their thirst for knowledge is overpowering their desire to consume the Otsutsuki, it doesn't mean that they are going to forget about doing so. As soon as they believe that they have acquired all the knowledge that they were seeking, their next targets are the Otsutsuki, which essentially means that their next targets are Boruto and Kawaki. Should the Shinju consume either one of them, their power could be more than double, as well as gaining access to information from Boruto and Momoshiki. Boruto has knowledge about the shinobi and the rest of the shinobi villages, and Momoshiki knows almost everything about Shinjutsu. Kawaki on the other hand has Isshiki's genetic information in his DNA and is also a genetically modified scientific ninja tool for a body. This combination of knowledge and genetic information is something that the Shinju should never get their hands on. If they were to end up assimilating Boruto or Kawaki, and also Momoshiki by extension, then it's over for everyone. Because I don't believe that Boruto can handle a threat of that level even if he decides to use his karma. I still don't believe that there's anyone in the village that can stand up to that level of power. But y'all can let me know if you think that Boruto with his karma is more powerful than Jura if Jura decided to use his full power. Or Boruto might have to team up with Kawaki in order to be able to handle the full power of the Shinju. Subscribe to the channel for more Boruto content, and check out this video on why Kawaki being powerless against the Shinju and Boruto is exactly what Amado was hoping for, so that he can use the opportunity to save his daughter Agebi.